Hi, this is Barron's SAT Premium Study Guide, Chapter 60 Averages. I'm John Linneball from John Linneball Tutoring, and here's a little humor. Here we see a very angry young 8 who says, "Oh, Mom, they called me average. Boys can be so mean." "No, sweetie, you're the mean one. See, 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 17 is 24. If you take the average, you get 8. So she's the mean. Ha ha ha." All right, question 1, page 504. Justin's average or arithmetic mean. They will always give you these in average problems because they don't want anyone saying, oh, my math teacher only ever taught these using the phrase arithmetic mean and not average, or vice versa. So everybody knows what that is. On 4 tests is 80. So his average on 4 tests is 80. What grade does he need to raise his next test? Or sorry, what does he need on his next test to raise his average to an 84? So since we know the average of the 4 tests is 80, the sum of the points on the 4 tests is just 80 times 4, which is equal to 320. We know the average we want for the 5 tests is 84, so we need 84 times 5 equals 420. Now we subtract the 4 test sum, that is 320, from the 5 test sum that we want, which is 420. So 420 minus 320 is 100, which is choice D. So he's going to have to ace that test most likely. He probably can't score higher than 100. Question 2, page 504. Judy's average, or arithmetic mean, on 4 tests is 80. Assuming she can earn no more than 100 points on a test, what's the least she can earn on her 5th test and still have a chance for an 85 average after 7 tests? So just as in the previous problem, we know the total points on the first 4 tests is 80 times 4, which is 320 points. If we want the 5th test to be the lowest, then the 6th and 7th have to be the highest they can be, which would be that they're both 100 points. So the sum of all the tests but the 5th should be 520 if we want the 5th to be the lowest. So for the average to be 85 for all 7 tests, the total must be 85 times 7, which is 595. So the minimum for the 4th test would be 595 minus 520, because that's 320 plus 200, is 595 minus 520, which is 75. Question 3, page 504. Adam's average, or arithmetic mean, on 4 tests is 80. Which of the following cannot be the number of tests on which he earned 80 points? This one requires you just to examine the answer choices. To get an 80 average on 4 tests, the sum must be 320. Use that fact to check. So basically, could only one test be an 80, choice A? Well, yes. For example, the test scores could be 80, 79, 82, and 79. So the 2 extra points in 82, you could give one to both of the 79s, and then they'd all be 80, so the average would be 80. It adds up to 320, so it checks out. Choice B, 2 tests? Well, certainly could have 80, 80, 90, and 70. So then the 70 and 90 would average out to 80, and of course the 80s are already 80s. Choice C, 3 tests? Well, 80 plus 80 plus 80 is 240, but that means the last test has to be 320 minus 240, which is 80. So no, that can't be the right answer. So you want to be careful with problems that say except, cannot, does not, because you don't want to accidentally pick a test, an answer choice that actually works out. Say, oh, that works, so it must be a right answer, without noticing there are 2 other answers that also work. So choice D would work if all 4 scores are 80, their average is 80. Makes sense. What else would it be if all the scores are 80? Question 4, page 504. If A plus B equals 3 times C plus D, which of the following is the average or arithmetic mean of A, B, C, and D? Well, first you want to set up the problem. So you know the average of A plus B plus C plus D. They're 4 different values, so you have to add them up and divide by 4. Since A plus B equals 3 times C plus D, we can always substitute to get 3 times C plus D equals 4 times C plus D. And of course we're dividing by 4, so that's going to be 4 times C plus D over 4. And that's, of course, these 4's cancel out, so we get C plus D, which is choice D. Question 5, page 504. If the average or arithmetic mean of 5, 6, 7, and 8, 5, 6, 7, and W is 8, what's the value of W? Well, common sense check. If the average is larger or smaller than the given constant values, that is the 5, the 6, and the 7, but the average is 8, that means W, the missing value, the variable, has to be larger than the average, because otherwise it can't average out to this because all the other values are lower. So the variable must be larger than the average. The larger or smaller the difference between the numbers and the average, the larger or smaller the variable must be. So since this is not a huge difference, I would expect W to be tremendously, but well, okay, 7 plus 1 is 8, 6 plus 2 is 8, 3. So it has to make that up. So you could figure it out. You could just go, well, W is going to be 8 plus 1 plus 2. That's, okay, 8 plus 3 is 11, plus 3 is 14. And definitely if we do it algebraically this way, we have 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus W over 4 equals 8. So 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus W equals 32. So W is equal to 32 minus 18, which is 14, choice B. And here I have another little example here. So we can see that 3 plus 7 plus 8 plus 12 equals 30 over 4 equals 7.5. So if this were missing and we knew that the average were 7.5, we'd know that the answer has to be somewhere between, has to be at least between 7 and 8. Turns out to be 7.5. But you could say, okay, 3, that's kind of low. So I know this is going to have to be up. It's not going to be close to 3. It's going to be closer to 7, 8, maybe even 9. And when you do the math, you find out it's 7.5. So keep that in mind. If you have 3 numbers they give you, or whatever number of numbers they give you that are all lower than the average, and one variable, you know the variable has to be higher than the average. Question 6, page 504. In the diagram here, lines L and M are not parallel. So one of these is L, one of these is M. Sorry, kind of got cut off when I took the picture out of the book. But anyway, if A represents the average or arithmetic mean of all 8 angles, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, which of the following is true? A equals 45. We don't know. 45 is A, 90. Well, A is greater than 45 but less than 90. Probably not. A is equal to 90, or A is between 90 and 180. Well, we can see from the diagram that we can't tell anything about these angles other than that each group of 4, A, B, C, D, adds up to 360, E, F, G, H adds up to 360. So we can just take 2 times 360 and then divide by 8. So that just ends up being 360 times 2 over 8, which is 360 over 4, which is 90, choice C. Remember, when they tell you it's not drawn to scale, they don't give you anything that shows that something's parallel or perpendicular. There are very few things you can tell. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, just knocked the microphone over a little bit. Okay, question 7, page 504. What is the average or arithmetic mean of 2 to the 10 and 2 to the 20? Well, we know the average of 2 to the 10th and 2 to the 20th is going to be 2 to the 10th plus 2 to the 20th over 2, which is 2 to the 10th over 2 plus 2 to the 20th over 2. So from the laws of exponents, we know that dividing a power of any number by that number is the same as taking that number to the original power minus 1. In other words, when working with exponents, we subtract the exponents to divide. So in other words, the simplest terms, we know we're dividing 2 to the 10th power by 2, so we're just going to subtract 1 from 10. That gives us 2 to the 9th. 2 to the 20th divided by 2, we subtract 1 from this exponent here, so we get 2 to the 19th, or C. I know when you look at it in the multiple choice, you're like, oh yeah, like that's the right answer. But it is. Okay, question 8. Got a little M&M's problem here. This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me. So let M, capital M, be the median and small m be the mode of the following set of numbers. 10, 70, 20, 40, 70, 90. What's the average or arithmetic mean of M and M? Well, first let's find the median, capital M. We list the values in order, and yes, you do have to count identical values as separate values. So it goes 10, 20, 40, 70, 70, and 90. If there are an odd number, or if there is an odd number, I should say, of values, we just pick the middle value. So if there were 7 here, we just go 1, 2, 3, oh, number 4, okay, 5, 6, 7, and this here would be the middle value. But since we only have 6, what we have to do, we have to average the middle 2. So that's why you want to list them in order, so you can have, figure out which 2 are the middle 2 or which one is the middle 1. We average 40 and 70, so that's 110 over 2, which is 55. So the mode is the most common value. You may have heard of pi a la mode. That literally means pie to the style, because it's very stylish to eat your pie with ice cream. Mode means style or fashion, so the most popular one is in style. It's very stylish. That's why people like it. That's one way to remember what the mode is. So the mode is the most common value. Here, there's 70 appears twice, so that's the most common value. So we average 55 and 70 to get 125 over 2, which is 62.5, or answer C. All right, question 9, page 505. Which is the following of the... Which of the following is the average or arithmetic mean of x squared minus 10, 30 minus x squared, and 6x plus 10? Well, we can just add the terms of the three binomials to get 6x plus 30. All the other terms cancel out. See, x squared and then minus x squared, that cancels out. Minus 10 and plus 10, those cancel out. So literally all you end up with is 6x plus 30. And since there were three terms, you have to divide that by 3, not 30. So 6x over 3 is 2x. 30 over 3, of course, is 10. So we get, 6x over 3 is 2 is what I mean. So 6x over 3 is 2x. 30 over 3 is 10. That equals answer choice A. Question 10. The average or arithmetic mean of the weight of the members of the students in the French club is 150 pounds, and the average weight of the students in the Spanish club is 130 pounds. If no one is a member of both clubs, then the average weight of all the students is 142 pounds, and there are 30 members of the French club, how many members are there in the Spanish club? Well, we can have SC be equal to the number of students in the Spanish club. And I know the first rule of Spanish club is "Tú no hablas como Spanish club, Club Español." All right, anyway, you can tell it's been a while since I took Spanish, but anyway. Okay, question 10, continued. So 150 pounds times 30 students plus 130 pounds times SC, number of students, over 30 plus SC students is equal to 142. So we're going to factor out students on the top, then they cancel out on the top and the bottom. See, we just kind of de-distribute. So we just move students over and it's multiplied by both of these things. There should be some brackets here. Sorry about that. But anyway, we're just factoring out students from both of these. That's just one thing that we're multiplying both by. And then 30 plus SC over students. So that cancels out. That cancels out. So we get 142 pounds times 30 plus SC equals 150 pounds times 30 plus 130 pounds times SC. So 142 SC pounds plus 142 times 30 pounds equals 150 times 30 pounds plus 130 SC pounds. So then we just subtract the 130 SC pounds from 142. You get 12 times SC pounds equals 150 minus 142. So that equals 8 times 30 pounds equals 240 pounds. We can divide by pounds, so, and 12, so then you just end up with SC is equal to 20 because the pounds cancels out, and 240 over 12 is 20. Grid in 20. Question 11. If 10a plus 10b equals 35, what is the average or arithmetic mean of a and b? We see a plus b equals 35 over 10, which is 3.5. Since the average would just be a plus b divided by 2, we get 3.5 over 2 equals 1.75. Now you can take this 3.5 over 2 and either just grid it in as 1.75, or you can even convert it to a normal fraction that doesn't have a decimal in the numerator or the denominator by just multiplying it by 2 over 2. So you get 3.5 divided by 2 times 2 over 2, which gives you 7 over 4. So you can grid in 1.75 or 7 over 4. Question 12, page 506. What is the average or arithmetic mean of the 5 angles in a pentagon? First, you need to know the sum of the internal angles of a polygon with n sides and n angles is n minus 2 times 180, which is 3 times 180 equals 540. Then we just divide the number of angles to get 540 over 5, which is 108, and you just grid in 108. All right, so for the best results, use the Barron's SAT, 30th or 29th, or even the 28th edition. This covers pages 504 through 505 in the 30th edition of the Barron's SAT, either the Premium SAT Study Guide or the normal 30th edition of Barron's SAT. The page numbers are the same in the 29th edition, and they're identical or close enough in the 28th and previous editions. You shouldn't use an edition older than Barron's new SAT from 2016 in any event. Not everything in this book is in these questions. Do read the actual chapters out of the book. The older editions of this book can also be had cheaply, if not for free, from used booksellers. Kids have already taken the test in public libraries. They sell old editions really cheaply. I have bought used review books for literally a dime from public libraries that were having little fundraiser sales. Or you can borrow the current edition, or you can just use the current edition in the library. If you want to use a library copy or a new edition, I suggest you start early. There's no worse feeling than needing a library book someone else has checked out, or trying to buy a review book that's sold out. Did you find this video useful? Please like it and subscribe to this channel. Neither action costs you anything. You'll be alerted about my new videos. Why do I care? It's simple. YouTube doesn't let me share any ad revenue unless I have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of view time in a year. While many people are watching these, I don't have 4,000 hours of watch time. I don't have anywhere near 1,000 subscribers. For the same reasons, you are not only welcome but encouraged to share links to this video, put in playlists, etc. I'm always happy to read or respond to constructive criticism or suggestions for new videos.
I'd appreciate your input.
I reserve the right to delete comments from and block those who specialize in destructive criticism, trolls or things that are off topic, spammers, disturbed people. So if you have a copyright issue, please contact me if you think I'm using intellectual property that I don't have the right to use. Let me know. Preferably if you actually own the intellectual property. I don't need to hear it if you don't own it, okay? Contact me on my cell phone, 415-623-4251. Email me at john@johnlinnebaugh.com. You can mail me at 1859 Powell Street, number 109, San Francisco, California, 94133. And even more contact information. Facebook is www.facebook.com/Linnebaugh Tutoring. Instagram, www.instagram.com, john.linnebaugh.tutoring. Phone number at my home office is 415-986-7355. Email is john@johnlinnebaugh.com. Website is johnlinnebaugh.com or johnlinnebaughtutoring.com. And you could also find my local site at testpreparation.locals.com. All right, have a good day.